Hello everyone, I'm a non-elite runner on a quest of self-improvement, and this channel is about running and travel. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. In this video I'm going to talk about my 7th week of preparation towards the Amsterdam Marathon. And this week I tried out a new pair of shoes, a super shoe from New Balance, the New Balance FuelCell SC Elite V3. So I'm going to talk about my experience in this pair of shoes this week, and towards the later half of the video I will talk about the workouts I did this week in the preparation for the marathon. Alright, so New Balance came out with a shoe a while ago. It comes on the heels of the RC Elite V2. It has a fuel cell midsole and it's powered by the new Energy Arc carbon plate. As far as the looks go, it's an absolute beauty, especially the white. The moment I laid my eyes on it, I really fell in love with the color, and when it was out on Running Warehouse at a discount, I wasted no time and I just bought myself a pair. So in terms of the features, it's a very lightweight shoe. It sort of compares with the Nike Vaporflies, which I love. Nike Vaporfly is around 210 gram in my size, which is US 10 or UK 9, thereabout. And the New Balance, it weighs a little bit heavier with 20 grams more per shoe, around 230 grams per shoe at my size. So as soon as I got the shoe, I really wanted to take it out for a spin because it looks absolutely beautiful, and you just feel like when you walk in it, you just feel the squishy foam, and you really feel very comfortable in it. So the moment I got it, I took it out for a spin. The cushion feels squishy, like I said, and it feels like it sinks in very well, makes your foot really comfortable. And when you run on hard surfaces especially, I really love the way it feels. It sort of makes me feel like it's much easier on my knees, on my joints, and that's what makes the fuel cell foam really special for me, because if you wear any of the other New Balance shoes, the fuel cell foam is what makes it so soft in terms of the cushion. So when I put it on, it felt like it fit very well on the forefoot. The toe box is quite roomy and my foot is a little broad, so it doesn't feel narrow at the forefoot, but at the midfoot it felt a little bit tight. Initially I wasn't concerned so much because I thought it'll loosen out, because usually New Balance shoes for me always feel a little tight on the midfoot, but as you use it for a duration, it sort of opens up a little bit. So I thought that it might take some time getting used to. So I just decided to go for a run, for my interval run in these pair of shoes. The first impression I had when I took it out, because when I started with my easy run during my warm-up session, and the first impression I have is it feels much more comfortable than many other super shoes or carbon plated shoes while running at a slower pace. So I walked around a little bit in the shoes, and also I started running around 6 minutes per kilometer pace, or around, how much is that in miles? Probably around 10 minutes per mile, thereabout. So it felt absolutely comfortable, didn't feel weird at all, or didn't feel unstable at all. And that's one more thing, it's quite stable. I mean, it doesn't feel at the turns, it doesn't feel like it's going to twist your ankle or something. Because some of the shoes, they have a very narrow feel to it, and when you turn, sometimes your ankles get twisted, especially if the surface is uneven. So this felt really good, and I used it for the warm-up, and then I went on to run my intervals at around 3:30–3:45 minutes per kilometer paces, and the shoe feels fast, especially because it's very light, and it has a very easy feel towards it. It doesn't feel awkward, it doesn't feel like it's pushing back on the foot like some of the shoes do. It just feels like it has a very nice gentle rocking motion to it, and I had a lovely time running in it. The only concern I had was that it started biting into my foot, my midfoot, a little bit later, and while I was running I was thinking that it'll pass, but it didn't. It went on and it increased and it hurt a little bit. I still got the workout done anyway, but when I took off the shoes later on, I realized that I had started bleeding midfoot, and This is the only concern I have, and it's actually quite a serious concern. In fact, it's a deal breaker for me, because I've never had this experience in any pairs of shoes, and I really wonder what really happened, because usually it doesn't. Usually it doesn't happen. You don't have shoes which start biting into your foot so badly that you start bleeding. Sometimes you do, of course, when you go on very long runs. But that day was only around 14 kilometers with a lot of easy running and a little bit of fast running in intervals. So I wondered what happened, and when I came back home, I took off the shoes and I looked at it a little bit, and then I realized the problem is the lacing system. It doesn't have the usual lacing system that like other shoes. There's no tongue to the shoe, so it is just covered in a sock-like material throughout, and the stitches towards midfoot are very tight. Even that is not the real problem. The real problem is that the stitches bulge out towards the inside, making it a very coarse surface that creates an abrasion towards the skin. And especially if you have a broad midfoot like mine, it sort of becomes even worse, because I think over time it just started cutting into my foot like a saw or something, and it started bleeding, which I've had trouble with it for the last few days, but it's healed now, everything is gone. But that was a deal breaker for me. So overall, I think the shoes, the cushion, the carbon plate, everything is beautiful. The looks of it is unparalleled, I would say. I think these are the most beautiful shoes I've run in a long time, and the color waves are wonderful. They have nice color choices, but I think eventually, if I can't run a long distance marathon in these pair of shoes, then what's the point of having a super shoe? Maybe it's good for some people, because the reviews I read before buying all of it said it's a wonderful shoe and lovely feel, good for easy runs, good for long runs rather, good for marathon preparation and even for race day. But I think even if your foot is not broad as mine, the stitching is what is going to trouble you over time, and I don't have this experience in any other shoe I've worn. I've used the Adidas Adizeros Pro, the two of its versions. I think the version 1 and version 2. I've used Saucony Endorphin Pros. I've used Asics Metaspeed Sky. I've used Nikes Vaporflies and Alphaflies. I've pretty much used most of the carbon plated shoes which are commonly used, and I had very high expectations of this, but unfortunately not going to work for me. So anyway, I hope they figure this out. I hope they fix this and they come out with a better version of it, because I think the cushion really made me feel so good. While I was running the intervals, I felt like it was going on in my mind. Wow, this is the pair of shoes I'm going to use for my next marathon. I have found the Vaporfly replacement, and Vaporfly is a little bit narrow, and sometimes I get trouble if my feet are swollen in my long runs. But unfortunately, when I took the shoes off, I realized that it has its problems. So anyway, moving on, this week has been topsy-turvy for me. I started off really well. I had an easy run plus a speed workout on Monday, which I did extremely comfortably. I mean, health-wise, touch wood, it's going great. Wednesday I had the interval run, again a lovely experience with the new pair of shoes and everything, running wise. Post run I had my troubles with the bleeding and all, but I mean that's fine. It happens. I mean, we are all adults here. Then I had an easy run and workout in the gym, and also a long run. Now this happened this week. I was feeling so good. I woke up at 4:30 and went out while it was still dark, with all gung-ho about finishing the 26 kilometers which was scheduled. But towards the 3rd kilometer, I sort of started feeling a bit of a pain in my calf. I ignored it for like a few meters, but it didn't go away, and I had to stop and rub myself a little bit and sort of massage my calf a little bit and started running again. It got worse, so I had to pull out of that workout, and I really don't like it. I don't like missing workout days, long run days especially, because those are irreplaceable. I mean, you can't go back and do another long run within the same week, or do 2 long runs in 1 week. That's not possible. So I really hate missing the long runs, but I had to pull out of that workout on Saturday, and I came back. The pain didn't go away. So, well, as they say, it's not a question of if you get injured in running, but it's a question of when you get injured in running. So I thought that I might have injured myself. So in the afternoon on Saturday, I went and saw a physiotherapist. But fortunately for me, she said that the muscle seems to be working fine. There's no pain when I exert it too much. So she just mentioned that sometimes it happens that while running your muscles overlap and you sort of bruise it or something, or I mean it just hurts, and it takes some time to sort of disentangle and come back to the normal position. So she suggested days rest and ice packs and compression socks, stuff like that. So I've been doing that since yesterday, and today I feel fine. So I'm hoping that tomorrow I'll be able to resume my workouts. If I don't, then I'll probably take a few days rest again, because all these years later, one thing that I understand is that you can't take injuries lightly. You can't run through them. You have to let the body heal and recover, so that in the long run in the longer run you can probably get back to training faster and injury free. So that brings me to the end of this week's update. I hope I'll be able to resume my workout tomorrow onwards again. So I'll post about it next week again. The video will come up Monday, and next week I'll talk about a little bit about my experience with injuries and how I've dealt with them over the years. So looking forward to see you again next week. If you like the content of this video and you want to know what happens in my journey towards the Amsterdam Marathon, please do subscribe and do continue watching the updates on how it goes, how my preparation goes, and eventually will I be able to hit a new PR in my Amsterdam Marathon. My previous PR was 3 hours 27 minutes official timing, and I hope to do something closer to 3:20 or 3:22 if possible in Amsterdam. So please do like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.